An appraisal comes in for an amount that you don't want it to be. Generally that's going to be a short appraisal because everybody's always happy if the appraisal comes in higher. You have a couple of options. So on a refinance transaction, there's no other party involved. You're just, you're either taking money out or you're trying to lower your existing interest rate. So in that case, there's only really one option. In that case, you can do a reconsideration of value request where you would provide additional data to us. We would go back to the appraiser and say, hey, we believe that your appraisal is too low. Here is some additional data that helps support the value that we believe the property is. Can you revise your report? And they will either say yes or they will say no. A lot of times they will say no. The further recourse for that situation is there's a in-house appraiser at these appraisal management companies that we use. It's called a staff appraiser. They will do a review of that appraiser's report, and if they believe it is grossly undervalued, basically if the report is trash and they didn't do a good job, then they will send a new appraiser out free of cost to assess your home. If they believe that the appraiser did a good job and it's supported, then you really have no further recourse there whatsoever. Your value is what your value is. Now on a home purchase, you have that same option. The other option is to accept the value as is and negotiate with the seller. So that's typically the route that I see people go. Most of the time, these appraisal disputes, generally, in most cases, these guys are doing a pretty good job. Like that's their trade. They know what they're doing. Now I have seen cases where they have a strong opinion about a particular neighborhood, or for whatever reason, the report is not good, and we have had values changed. But most of the time, that's their profession. That's what they do, is they value homes. So generally in that case, you're going to go back to the seller, you're going to negotiate and either reduce the sales price down to what the appraised value is, somewhere in between. You also have the option of accepting the value as is and just paying cash for the difference of that property. Maybe the value is not supported by by the local comparables, right? So on paper, the value is not there because it's not supported by other data, but in your heart of hearts that that house is worth that amount and you're willing to pay it. Well, you always can write a check for that amount. So you have a couple of options. There's definitely ways that we can help if that happens. I haven't seen it happen as much as I did 15 years ago. Let's put it that way. That was a tougher time where we would have a lot more short values. As of now, most of the reports that I've seen come in have been pretty good, but those are basically the options that you have if for whatever reason it doesn't come in.